The secondary market is extremely slow this week, but there are still a few cards you should know about, and they're featured in this episode of the Magic the Gathering Market Watch. This video is sponsored by Flipside Gaming. Check out flipsidegaming.com for all your gaming needs. Right now you can pre-order Marvel's Spider-Man, Avatar: The Last Airbender, or find a vast number of other great items on their website. Remember, shipping is free in the US if your order's over $100 or consists only of singles. Just look in the description or comment section below for direct links to their site. Hey there, this is John from Heroes and Legends, and welcome to another edition of the Magic the Gathering Market Watch. As I said in the cold open, the market is extremely sluggish. However, we'll still be looking at the top 10 cold and the top 10 hot cards of the week. As always, our lists are based on two pieces of criteria: the percentage change in the value of the cards, as well as the change in the number of sales from week to week. We'll quickly look at the cold cards and then spend a little more time on the cards moving up in price. Quickly before we get started though, just one fast thing. I do want to say thank you to one of our silver patrons, and that is BearBearsRVA. Bears, thank you so much for your support on Patreon. It means a ton. I really couldn't do this without viewers like yourself. I truly appreciate it. So thank you, Bears. And now, without any further ado, let's get into it. We'll begin with the top 10 coldest cards of the week. Now, many of the top 10 cards have recently been moving up in price, but you know how it goes. Cards get hot for a time, then the market moves on to other things, they go back down. So let's jump in with a card that has been number 10 on the cold list for 2 weeks in a row, the Indomitable, down $1.09 to $2.91. That's a 27% decrease. This is from the Lost Caverns of Ixalan Ahoy Mateys Commander deck. 1 week ago, stores began to receive a restock of the Lost Caverns of Ixalan Commander decks, so some of the cards from those products have been trending down, like this one. Number 9, Sister Hospitler. This is down $1.10 to $8.89. That is an 11% decrease. This one's from the Warhammer 40k Forces of the Imperium Commander deck. It's been hot recently since many players have been getting it to upgrade the Final Fantasy Revival Trance Commander deck. Now, however, the market is moving on to other things and Sister Hospitler slides down some. Moving down one spot this week to number 8, Legion Extruder, down $1.23 to $10.39. That's an 11% decrease. This is from the Outlaws of Thunder Junction's The Big Score subset. It has been appearing in several decks in multiple formats, but its standard potential was the key driver for the card's recent price increases. As the new meta formed, however, Legion Extruder began to see less play, leading to this retraction. Number 7 is Soulstone Sanctuary, down $1.47 to $8.03. That's a 16% decrease. This recently spiked due to the large amount of play it had been seeing in Standard. It is, however, part of the Is It Cauldron deck that has been dominating the format. This week, Wizards said that they are aware of the issue with that deck in the Standard meta, and in response, the banned and restricted list announcement would be moved up 2 weeks to November 10th. They foreshadowed that VV Orniteer would most likely be banned and said that they may consider Agatha's Soul Cauldron as well, but they wanted to see how the meta develops. Long story short, it looks like Is It Cauldron will be losing VV, which will lead to a big meta shakeup. Now, I'm sure Soulstone Sanctuary will continue to see a lot of play in Standard regardless, but everybody is waiting to see what's going to happen, so it retracts some this week. Moving down one spot to number 6, Wrathful Raptors, down $1.92 to $2.58. That's a 43% decrease. This is from the Lost Caverns of Ixalan Velociraptor Commander deck. It's another card moving down because of the restock I mentioned earlier. Number 5 is Charismatic Conqueror, down $2.24 to $17.71. That is a 31% decrease. This is from the Lost Caverns of Ixalan Blood Rights Commander deck. It is in the 99 of several Commander builds, but it too is moving down because of the Lost Caverns of Ixalan Commander deck restock that occurred a week ago. Number 4, Debt of Loyalty, down $3.43 to $26.80. That's an 11% decrease. This reserve list card spiked recently after MTG Rocks featured it in an article. At the time, I said that the card was moving up due to the extra attention and that it would settle back down soon enough. It looks like more copies are entering the marketplace already, and the price is sliding back down. Number 3, Nuka-Cola Vending Machine, down $3.48 to $22.02. That's a 14% decrease. This is from the Fallout Science Commander deck with an exclamation point. It recently spiked since many players wanted it for their commander builds around Ragos Def Gastronaut from Edge of Eternities. Now though, the market is moving on to some other things, so Nuka-Cola vending machine moves down. Last week, this was number 1 on our hot list. This week it lands at number 2 on the cold list. It is Quantum Riddler, down $3.76 to $30.65. That's an 11% decrease. This is another card found in Standard Izzet Cauldron, which is why it's sliding down some this week. Assuming VV is banned in a couple months, Quantum Riddler may see less play, but it will still be used in several decks in various formats. However, it does have a pretty high price point for a brand new card, so I assume it will be going down more before it finds its proper price. And moving up 2 spots to number 1, Agatha's Soul Cauldron, down $6.32 to $41.90. That's a 13% decrease. Well, here's another card that is highly played in Standard, moving down, and not surprisingly, it too is found in Izzet Cauldron. It didn't sound like Wizards wanted to ban this card, but I guess we'll see what happens. If it isn't banned in Standard, it most likely will still find homes there, even without VV Ornithir. Alright, now it's time for the main event, the top 10 hottest cards of the week, starting with a card that is moving down 5 spots this week to number 10, Chandra Spark Hunter, up $1.01 to $10 for an 11% increase. This has been seeing some additional commander play recently and builds around Setzer Wandering Gambler from the Final Fantasy Revival Trans Commander deck, and Dr. Eggman from the Sonic Friends and Foes Secret Lair. However, the format moving Chandra Spark Hunter's price the most is Standard. Chandra's in many of those mono red aggro builds. In fact, the version of the deck that came in first place at the Standard tournament at SCG-Con a week ago had 2 copies in the sideboard. This is in other Standard decks too though, like Gruul Delirium, Jeskai Oculus, and 4-color Kona. Number 9 is Willow Rush Verge, up $1.03 to $6.63. That's an 18% increase. This is getting a lot of play in Standard, regular Commander, and 1v1 Dual Commander. The Standard format though is the key driver. There you'll see Willow Rush Verge in a couple key builds. It's in Simic midrange and many times in Temur Battlecry combo, which has been gaining momentum over the last couple weeks. Many think that these decks will become a bigger part of the field after the banned and restricted list update on November 10th. You do see Willow Rush Verge in some other Standard decks too though, like Simic Omniscience, Sultai Control, Simic Aggro, Temur Control, Bant Omniscience, and Temur Storm Splitter. In regular Commander, this is found in several builds, like your Rennie of the Unwritten and Miss Bumbleflower for example. Over in 1v1 Dual Commander, Willow Rush Verge is in the mana base of decks around Glarb Calamity's Augur and Asika God of the Tree for example, and it has even seen increased Commander play in builds there around Terra Magical Adept / Esperterra from Final Fantasy. Number 8, Grim Feast, up $1.16 to $10.79. That's a 12% increase. This reserve list card doesn't see all that much play to speak of, but there is some speculation on it now thanks to a card from the upcoming Marvel Spider-Man set. Some think it may be good in Commander decks around Kraven the Hunter, so Grim Feast moves up this week. Number 7, Stand Still from Odyssey. It goes up $1.20 to $7.49. That's a 19% increase. This sees play in a few different places. In Commander, it commonly appears around Heliod the Radiant Dawn. Over in Pre-Modern, it's found in a few decks, but the most popular one by far is Stand Still itself. Also this week, Andrea Mengucci featured a legacy deck called Shark Still on TCG Player. That deck gets its name from Stand Still and Shark Typhoon. Put it all together, and there's some new interest right now in Stand Still, causing the original copy to move up. Moving up 2 spots this week to number 6, Oyer Exenil Deepest Might, up $1.51 to $12.76. That's a 13% increase. I mentioned earlier that the Izzet Cauldron deck dominated the field and the top 8 recently in SCG-Con Standard Tournament. However, the deck that took the largest part of the field after Izzet Cauldron was Mono Red Aggro. There were 2 copies of that deck in the top 8 and they took 1st and 8th place. Now, not all versions run Oyer, but the one that came in 8th place had 2 copies in the main. After the banned and restricted list update on November 10th, Mono Red Aggro may become the new top deck in the meta, so this card is creeping up some. It's important to note that Oyer Exenil Deepest Might is also a fairly popular commander and in the 99 of builds around some new cards like Tannic Memorial Ensign and Ragos Def Gastronaut from Edge of Eternities, as well as VV Ornithir from Final Fantasy. But standard Mono Red Aggro is the true catalyst for Oyer's price increase. Quickly before we get to our top 5, just a fast reminder, this video is sponsored by Flipside Gaming. Check out flipsidegaming.com for all your gaming needs. Right now, you can pre-order Marvel Spider-Man products. They also have Avatar: The Last Airbender products up for pre-order, plus a whole lot of other things on their website, Magic related and otherwise. Remember, if your order's over $100 or consists only of singles, shipping will be free in the United States. And if you're looking for a direct link to their site, just check out the description or comment section below. I do have links posted in both of those places. And now, without any further ado, let's get to the top 5. Coming in at number 5, Etali Primal Conqueror, up $1.62 to $21.02. That's an 8% increase. First, this is in Legacy Creative Technique, and it also sees some play in 1v1 Dual Commander, where it can be found in builds around the First Sliver, in Ureni the Song Unending, for example, but regular Commander is the key driver for this price increase. This is a very popular commander, and it can be found in the 99 of several builds, including ones around Pantlaza Sunfavored and Gisath Sun's Avatar. Remember earlier when I said the Lost Caverns of Ixalan commander decks have been restocked in stores? Well, one of those builds is a dinosaur deck, and it contains Pantlaza Sunfavored as the front-facing commander. The deck's called Velociraptor, and that's the real reason Etali Primal Conqueror is jumping in price now. Players want a copy to either upgrade that deck or just to use generally with all the dinosaurs and dinosaur support cards found within. Etali Primal Conqueror is also seeing some increased commander play right now around Tanic Memorial Ensign from Edge of Eternities. However, again, it's that Velociraptor deck really making the difference here. Coming in at number 4 for the second week in a row, Seize the Spotlight. The copy from the Outlaws of Thunder Junction Most Wanted Commander deck is up $1.03 to $11.01. That's a 10% increase. The one from the Streets of New Capenna Cabaretti Cacophony Commander deck is up $2.24 to $11.95. That's a 23% increase. This is moving up since it has been seeing some additional commander play recently around several new cards. It's showing up in commander decks around Sonic the Hedgehog from the Sonic Friends and Foes Secret Lair, as well as Van Street Thief and Zidane Tantalus Thief from Final Fantasy, and Ragostef Gastronaut from Edge of Eternities. Number 3, Cursed Scroll, up $2.46 to $31.45. That's a 9% increase. This reserveless card happens to be a very highly played pre-modern card. It's found in some big decks there, like Burn, Pit Rack, Mono Red Aggro, and White Weenie, for example. Keep an eye on this one. I wouldn't be surprised if it continues to climb over time. Number 2, Krark-Clan Ironworks from Fifth Dawn. It goes up $2.82 to $28.69. That is an 11% increase. This is moving up because it has seen an increase in commander play recently. It's indexed around a few new cards, including Knuckles the Echidna from the Sonic Friends and Foes Secret Lair, as well as Sammy Wildcat Captain, and wait for it, Ragostef Gastronaut from Edge of Eternities. If you've been watching these videos, you know how popular those Ragos decks have been. They are really the key driver behind the Krark-Clan Ironworks price increase this week. And finally, coming in at number 1 is Panoptic Mirror. This goes up $2.90 to $34.90. That's a 9% increase. Earlier in the year, this one-per wonder was taken off the Commander ban list and promptly skyrocketed in price. Since then, it has shown up in Commander decks, but it hasn't really found consistent homes. In fact, a few weeks ago, Panoptic Mirror appeared on our cold list and was dipping rather significantly. Now, though, it is bouncing back from those recent losses. Basically, the card is trying to find its proper price point. Alright, that is going to do it for this episode of the Magic the Gathering Market Watch. A little bit slower this week, but still some really intriguing things going on. We'll have to see how the market builds up as we approach Avatar. I do think that's going to be a big time period for people buying and selling cards. Anyway, tomorrow I'm going to try to do a live stream on MTG Arena, so if you're interested, make sure your notifications are on. I'm not sure the exact start time. Most likely it will be late Sunday morning, early Sunday afternoon. But feel free to stop by, say hi. If you want to talk about other things other than what I'm drafting, we can do that. We can talk about cards or whatever. Until next time, though, thanks for watching. If you liked the video, please give us a like and subscribe, and have a great day. Hey, thanks for watching. This video is made possible through the generous support of viewers like you on Patreon. Check out the description below for links to our Patreon page, as well as our Amazon affiliate store, where a small percentage of all sales will also help support the channel. Finally, if you haven't had a chance yet to subscribe, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the new videos on Heroes and Legends. Talk to you again soon, and have a great day.